it's a part of the season and a part of the sort of my coaching and sort of caretaker role. Thankfully forget, but it was a tough period. And again, when you're saying about taking things home, everyone suffered who sort of were close to me then. It was tough for me personally, for people around me who I would give a hard time to, because I cared, but I'd say it happened to the wrong people. And I knew I couldn't do anything about it at the club because I weren't given any help in bringing, or being allowed to bring players in, which was frustrating. So we had to work with what we had, which is so difficult.
I know you'd said that when you first got the caretaker job, you had no aspirations to be a manager. Had that changed in the 10 years since?
No.
So were you given a choice, or were you just told you are now the caretaker?
They asked me, would you look after it for the show until we get someone to come in? I said, well, yeah, the club can't suffer. I can't say no, the club can't suffer. So yes, I will look after it for the short term. I think at that time wasn't so short, but no. But your hands were tied, so it was difficult. But again, it's all an experience, whether good or bad. It's experience.
I think I'm right in saying Ronnie's last game would have been a 2-2 draw against Bristol City in February. So you had two months or so, and it must have been a really hard 2 months. Given, do you believe the die was already cast before that Bradford game? Basically,
I think so. Again, if you've got an opportunity to do something for the team, for you to affect and change what was a struggling team anyway, then you need to freshen things up, get some new face, and just try and change something, have an impact somewhere on the pitch. And we couldn't do that. So there was no. So everyone's thinking, God, what's happened to Ronnie? What's going to happen there? And that sort of took centre stage, where it shouldn't have been. The team should have been the centre stage still. And how are we going to survive and how are we going to sleep? And that was by investing and getting some players in, and we couldn't.
Let's talk about that Bradford game then. As horrible as it was to watch, I imagine it was even worse to be in the dugout for. I'm told that you did something pretty nice to try and motivate the players pre-game.
Yeah, I just thought, listen, it's obviously a huge game in the club's history, a huge game for the players. I just wanted them to, because sometimes I always think, what motivates people? What motivates players? Is it finances? Is it family? Is it celebrating? Is it being the main man? I don't know. And for me, it's always family. It's always family that will be my motivation in what I do and why I want to succeed. So I thought, can I get video messages from the players' families and show them in the dressing room before the game? Just as something different to really think, right, wow, have an impact. And I don't know whether it had a positive impact. I don't know. The lads seemed drained. Some of them are crying. People were crying in the dressing room. I thought, I've done the wrong thing here, because it was that emotional. Matty Pennington and Robbo's and Ryan Lowe's kids are speaking. And wow, and it was emotional, powerful stuff. And I thought, when I've reflected, I've gone, was it right? Was it wrong? I don't know. But it was done for the right reasons, certainly for the right reasons. I wanted them to feel how important it was for players' families, and to certainly get that, to say, listen, whatever happens, you're doing it for your families. They're behind you. They're all with you. There's the message that show that. And go on, away you go. So, but again, we would just come up short with it. We weren't good enough.
Tell us a little bit about what it was like, that Bradford game then. The match, Matty obviously puts you ahead, and then Junior Brown gets sent off.
Yeah.
And then you can see those 2
kills
late goals.
Junior kills, and I think they were desperate to win the game, Bradford as well, because we beat them at their place. I think Goody had a run in with their manager, and it was always going to be the case where they tried to get one back on us really, and unfortunately that was the game. But yeah, it was just even I think even if we'd have won it, we'd have still gone down. I think by the results, but
That's correct. Yeah,
it still didn't help. But again, factors leading into that, they were so desperate to win the game. They had nothing riding on it as well, but they had going on in the fact that I think Goody caused mayhem at their place as he could do. So they had a real desire to sort of want to beat us, but it's gone now. But yeah, really disappointing. I was really choked at the end of the game for that one.